Good day, everyone. This is Pine Leaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody, how's it going?
Hello there, Drac. How are things going in Barovia?
Meh.
Yeah, I heard you're getting another visit from the old friend Arctic Vortex or something.
Yes, that old man Winter. The Vortex and Mr. Winter is paying me a visit soon, unfortunately.
Well,
Winter.
yes, let's head into our news for this week, where there is a little tidbit on the Black Friday sales.
Yeah, there was a post over on the forum. Somebody asked, hey, it's getting close to Black Friday. Are you going to have Black Friday sales again? Which they usually always do. Cordovan answered, but his answer is kind of curious. He says, yes, there will be Black Friday sales. Besides this being something we always do, it's sort of a semi-required this day and age. Smiley face. The specifics of it have not been announced yet, although I can say this. This year, we are being particularly careful to make sure the offerings are available to both VIPs and non-VIPs.
Oh, was there something that happened last year?
I know, because the only let's just be honest. Usually, the things that they put on sale on Black Friday are like the starter pack and all the old expansions, like Menace of the Underdark and Shadowfair Spell Conspiracy, are usually what's in the Black Friday sales. So it's just very curious how he says both available to VIPs and non-VIPs. So I'll be interested to see what said sales will be. We'll find out in a couple weeks. But I just find that really, really curious.
Yes, it does sound a little bit on.
Yeah, I'm just, thinking back, it's always been, that's pretty much what the sale, and then usually they put, the only thing, well, no, because even then, VIPs don't get some of them. Like a lot of the times they'll put like races on sale, or they might put some classes on sale. Because I know like the one time they did, I want to say like half orc was in the Black Friday sale, but VIPs don't automatically get that. That's something you have to buy. I think Drow was at one time. So I'm curious to see. So that piqued my interest. So we shall see.
We shall see. Then let's head into the DDO Chronicle, issue 358. And someone's outside of a shop, it looks like.
I guess so. And the shop is open, apparently, because the light is on, so. He's standing in line, but there's nobody in front of him, so I don't know why he just doesn't walk right in, but hey, okay.
Well, maybe it's not open. Maybe it's
could be.
Just being... I'm wondering, because if this is the shop at the docks at Sharn...
That's where I assumed it was?
In which case, it wasn't supposed to be open because someone broke into it.
Oh, well, those pesky criminals.
Yeah.
Let's look at our community spotlights. Team Standing Stone Games is working to prevent suicide among men along with other men's health issues. That is part of the Movember campaign, which Cordovan is parking. Let's try that again. Partaking in. That's the word I wanted. Partaking. Easy for me to say. As always, so if you've seen his weekly Wednesday live stream last week, he is sans beard. And he looks really weird without the beard. And he even admits that he looks weird without the beard.
Yes, that's Cordovan in November.
That's right. I'm going to say, if you're new to the community, this happens every November. So click over and help them raise some money for Movember. Symbiont is soloing the Project Nemesis raid. Craziness but they're doing it. Click over to watch that video. Bonnie Bew and crew tackle the Tomb of the Wizard King tabletop style. Click over to watch the first part of that video. That, of course, Bonnie talked about that on the last show. That was for her Extra Life campaign. And Nimion Orlet? Sure, why not? Is previewing mounts. Check out that video. We have our player spotlight, which, if you remember, this is a new section of the Chronicle where they spotlight a player. I would like to recognize Arrow Havoc of the Orion server, or Orion, depends how you want to say it. About a year ago, a group of us began running a static group. He constantly pushes us to run higher content, to challenge us, not to make the game just about playing it easy. Due to his leadership, we've moved up to Reaper challenges, and we now find Vengeance Reapers and Fear Reapers can even be a threat. He helps us with build questions, talks gear selection, leads raids, and helps new players. Arrow also throws in a R10 every life when things are getting a bit stagnant, and we know full well we're probably going to die. But it makes us laugh, and we actually finish it. He also has started streaming our R6 runs on Twitch under the Twitch username Arrow Havoc. Anyway, I just think he should be the spotlight for his wonderful leadership. So good job, Arrow Havoc. R10. Scary stuff right there. Good for you for running R10. Let's jump into our fan site news section. DDO Cast is taking a look at Keep on the Borderlands in their latest episode. We got a shout out for our video that we did on the new stat panel, which actually is not available anymore because there was a problem with the video on YouTube. I'm not sure what. Yeah, I didn't realize it until after I had uploaded it and it was up. That for some reason only like 40 seconds of the video encoded.
Oh, that wasn't intentional?
That was not intentional.
Okay.
Not intentional at all. So did not realize that until after it was up. Somebody pointed that out. I went and I looked at it and I was like, oh, so yeah, we got to shut out the Chronicle. Yeah, the video is not available anymore. Sorry about that. Yeah, I have no idea what happened, but I didn't even notice that because it seemed when I was encoding it, everything seemed okay. When I recorded it, it seemed okay. It was about a 5-6 minute video, maybe something like that. Didn't even pay attention when I uploaded it, and then somebody on the forums commented, "Hey, is this video only supposed to be this long?" And then I looked and I was like, "Oh no, it is not." So yeah, sorry about that. Don't forget DDO Stream. That is your home for live DDO streaming all throughout the week on Twitch. Recent shows by Doug Landauer, Brock and Friends, and FreeDO will await you. YouTube also has plenty of people making DDO videos. Fubar and Friends, I love that name. Stream Tom and Tharza. Massively OP's MJ ran the Night Rebels, which recently ended. So click over to see MJ and the Massively OP gang run some Night Rebels. Let's take a look at the Chronicle Comments. If your character wasn't an adventurer, what would the regular job be?
What would the regular job be if my character... The biggest trouble is trying to figure out, all right, which character are we talking about?
That's exactly what I was going to say. It depends on which character.
Right, because each character will have its own little job. Because an artificer could easily be either an exotic weaponsmith or a locksmith or something like that. In other words, something on the technical side. Because that would fit an artificer. And, well, clerics, you have a pretty obvious
well, yeah,
profession for them.
You probably have one job to do when you're a cleric.
Right, and fighters tend to be in the arm. Well, I don't know, because the reason why they become adventurer fighters is because they find the army too boring and restrictive. That's the problem with them. But yeah, what would you become if you... As I said, it depends what it is. So if we go with my artificer, I would probably say probably some sort of a trying to be an inventor or tinkering with stuff, probably making the real money as a locksmith, but probably on the side a tinker trying to make things.
And I would say my ranger, if you want to go with that, would be probably a bowmaker or a fletcher. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And my rogue would be a shady criminal. That would be their profession, a shady criminal.
A shady criminal, yes.
Let's take a look at the screenshot of the week. Scapinelli is surrounded by the Night Rebel sky in the 439th DDO screenshot of the week. And that is from Lux Inferno for sending that shot in. Definitely a cool screenshot. My prediction for next week, the screenshot probably going to involve Keep on the Borderlands because it should be live by next Chronicle. Maybe.
Oh, they are expecting that to be released next week?
They're strongly hinted at it.
Aha.
They didn't come out and say that was going to happen, but everything is on track for that to happen. So we'll see.
Right. Now, was there anything exciting in this week's Lavanya build?
No idea. Did not get a chance to look.
I know I was. It sort of came out around the same time as a certain expansion came out.
I'm gonna say you were probably busy on the other SSG game.
Yes, on the other game.
Yeah, I kind of glanced over the Lamania release notes, and I really didn't see anything that jumped out at me that was, other than the rest of the 4 dungeons were available to preview. That was new.
That was new.
Because we only had 4 during the first one, and there's going to be 8 total, so the other 4 were in. And I did read, I don't think it was in the patch notes, it might have been in the thread where people were talking about the quest. They're all level 1s, except the last one is going to be a level 2. So they're all level 1/21. The 8th and final dungeon is going to be level 2/22.
I'm just trying to think, how is someone going to do 7 dungeons
without leveling? Exactly.
Yeah, because you're going to be level 2 by the time you're halfway through that series.
Yeah, you'll get probably 4 dungeons and you're going to hit your level. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird that they split them up that way. But that's what they're doing.
All right.
Then, yeah, other than that, that's really all that really jumped out at me. Oh, they did add, I know, in the stat panel UI, which we did do a really cool video on that nobody's going to get to see. They did add some new stuff to that. So that's kind of cool that they're adding to that. There's a lot more stuff in there that it's going to show now. And the social UI panel now has little small icons for iconic races. Really, that was about it that I see. That was the biggest changes from Preview 1. So not much, but yeah, I think Cordovan did strongly hint at on his live stream that Keep on the Borderlands should be pretty soon, hopefully this week, if not next week. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned for a downtime notice on that, but I'm thinking it's going to be pretty soon.
Then let's look into the store sales. Do we have a wonderful sale this week?
It's not too bad. It's the Advance Your Alt sale, 20% off Tomes of Learning, select low-level adventures, plus 2 ability tomes. Those are on sale through November the 14th. And the weekly coupon code is a free, long-lasting Eagle's Majesty potion. 5 of those when you use the coupon code CROWNME, CROWNME. Crown Me. And that also is through the 14th of November.
Then let's go and head on to the tabletop. Where they have announced a new inductee into the Toy Hall of Fame, and this year's inductee is the collectible card game, the one that started it all, Magic the Gathering.
That's right, the grandpappy of the CCG, Magic the Gathering. It goes in with two other things. There were 12 finalists, and they narrowed them down to 3. The aforementioned Magic the Gathering, also going in the Matchbox car and the coloring book.
And the coloring book.
My question is, how was the coloring book not already in the Toy Hall of Fame? You would have thought the coloring book would have been the first thing to go in to the Toy Hall of Fame. But
I would think so, because there have been, especially since the coloring book that they show here is definitely not like they're inducting the relatively, because adult level coloring books are a more recent thing, but they're showing a child's coloring book.
This is like the classic children's coloring book,
yes.
which has been around since like the 1800s, I think, maybe?
Probably.
Something like that. So yeah, it's like, how the heck was the coloring book not in the Hall of Fame? Well, now it is, along with Magic and Matchbox cards.
Well, Matchbox cards have been around a pretty long time also, because I remember them when I was young.
Yeah, and then just a couple years ago, Hot Wheels got in. So Hot Wheels got in front of Matchbox. I know there's a little rivalry going on with the Matchbox Hot Wheels people. Some people like the Matchbox. Some people like the Hot Wheels. Well, they're both in the hall now, so everybody can just learn to get along, I guess.
I guess they like the Hot Wheels first because they also have the tracks that you get with the Hot Wheels.
Oh, see, probably. Sets. I didn't think about that. Probably. Yeah, other inductee, or other finalists, I should say, for this year was the Care Bears, the Fisher-Price Corn Popper, Jenga, Masters of the Universe, My Little Pony, Nerf Blaster, Risk, and the smartphone.
The smartphone?
Which, yeah, I was like, what? Luckily, that was just a finalist and didn't get in, because I'm still like, what? Really? Alrighty. Of course, as we kind of alluded to, Wizards of the Coast did introduce Magic back in 1993, and it quickly had trouble meeting the demand for the game. A book series, electronic games, and a Netflix series have all followed, and the game is still played today. It employs a chance of skill and luck as players continuously collect new cards and refine their deck and their strategies.
Right. So, I remember when the game first came out, which was you didn't know that they would have this whole thing with alphas and betas. And then finally the white borders and all that fun stuff.
Right, yeah.
That was all that.
It's kind of interesting how the game has kind of evolved and changed over the years.
Yes, it has quite had. I think it was around 5th edition when I started losing touch with, okay, what are the latest changes to the rules now?
What does all this mean? What is this?
Well, it's because, back when the game started, you had this concept of interrupts. I don't think they technically exist anymore.
I have not played Magic, and I couldn't tell you the last time I played.
Yeah, it was pretty long time. So,
and of course, Magic does join Dungeons and Dragons, which was inducted into the hall back in 2016. So congratulations to Wizards for having 2 of their major properties in the Toy Hall of Fame. And if you're wondering where said Hall of Fame is, it is located at the Strong National Museum of Play, and that is in Rochester, New York.
Rochester, New York. Okay. Yeah, that looks like a real colorful museum.
yeah, it is. It's quite interesting building they have for their museum, but kind of makes sense. We're at Toy Hall of Fame, though.
Yes. Then let's head into something Horrified.
Eek. Yeah, that's right. We finally got our review of a Horrified up. We've talked about Horrified quite a lot. Talked about it when I played it during our weekend gaming. If you're living under a rock and you don't know what the heck this Horrified game is, it is from Ravensburger. It's a game where you're going to battle the classic Universal monsters, that being Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, Mummy, Invisible Man, and the creature from the Black Lagoon. Players are going to team up to defeat the monsters. Each monster is going to have a little mini game that you have to play to actually defeat the monsters. For example, like with Dracula, you have to go to 4 locations on the board, destroy his coffins. To do that, you need red tokens to match I think there's 6s. So you have to have red tokens that you pick up on the board along the way that add up to at least 6 to destroy the coffin. And then once you destroy all of his coffins, you have to have 6 yellows, and you have to get to the same square as him, and then you can destroy him. The Mummy has a game where you have to move scarabs and get them arranged. There is 6 scarabs, and you have to move them around, and you have to play tokens to be able to do that. And then you got to get to his square, and then use reds to defeat him, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of unique that each monster has its own little mini game that you do. You can choose to battle as many monsters as you want. You can do 2 for an easy game, 3 for a medium game, and then if you're really crazy, you can do 4 monsters. I wouldn't suggest doing 4 monsters because it's pretty much unwinnable. It's very, very hard. The game does have a little bit of luck involved because you are rolling dice to decide damage. So there's a little bit of luck. The easiest way to describe the game is it's a pick up and go game. You have actions on your turn. You can move. You can pick up items, and then you can go to another square. So that's the easiest way to describe it. And once you completed all their actions, that is your hero phase, and then you go into the monster phase. You draw a monster card, and then you follow whatever happens on the monster card. Maybe a villager will come out, and you'll put some new tokens on the board as well. And monsters could actually go and attack. Each monster card has a specific monster on the card at the bottom, and those monsters will move and attack. So if they're in your game, they're going to move, they're going to attack. So then again, a little bit of luck is involved in like your dice rolls and your card draws. Overall, great game. Love the game. As I said in my review, the only bad thing I could criticize about the game is I wish the cards were a little better made. These cards are pretty flimsy, and I don't know how well they're going to hold up over time. I would really suggest sleeving them. Because, I played the review copy Ravensburger sent us. I probably played 15, 20 times by now. And a couple of the cards are kind of getting a little wear on them. So I highly suggest sleeving cards. I usually don't like to sleeve my cards. I don't know. I've just never been a big card sleever guy. Might change my mind on this one and figure out which size sleeves I need and actually get some sleeves for these.
Okay.
But click over on the site. You can read the full review. But that is Horrified from Ravensburger. Highly, highly, highly recommend it.
So when were card sleeves invented? The day after Magic the Gathering came out?
Probably pretty close. I would think, yeah. They probably went hand in hand.
Yeah, because I never heard of them until Magic the Gathering, that's for sure.
I never thought about that, but I think you're right. That's about the first time I've heard of anybody putting, because I thought, what? I'm going to buy sleeves for some, no. Who's going to sleeve their, and now it's like pretty much every game. And most of the publishers will even tell you, like in the rules, when, how in the rule book there's always the contents, and they'll say cards. Usually most rule books will tell you it takes this size of card sleeves. And sometimes they're nice enough to actually give you the sleeves in the box, too. I have seen games that are like that. They actually just give you sleeves for the cards automatically.
Very well. Then I heard that you took another bite of a game to review.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah, we also reviewed Jaws. Once again, we've talked about this. This conveniently also is from Ravensburger. This is the best way to describe this game is it's a hunted versus the hunters. One player is Jaws. 3 other players are the townsfolk from the movie. Quint, Hooper, and Brody. So if you are familiar with the movie, I think you're going to enjoy this game a lot more than those that aren't familiar with the movie. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can still play the game if you've never seen Jaws. It's easy enough to pick up and learn that you're still going to have fun with it. I think the people that are going to enjoy it the most are going to be fans of the movie.
Yeah.
Once again, this game kind of suffers from the Horrified situation. I would say sleeve these cards as well, because they apparently use the same card stock for these two, because they feel about the same as the Horrified cards.
Now, my question is, do you know if are the review copies actual published?
Yes.
Okay. They are officially the ones and not early preview.
Yes.
versions.
No. These two were actually production copies.
Okay.
A lot of the times, the review copies we get, are like pre-production copies, are prototype versions, but these actually were the retail, quote unquote retail production copies. So what my cards look like are what your cards are going to look like when you go to Target or Amazon to buy the game. Other than that, read the full review. Like I said, fun game. I enjoyed it a lot. I think you're going to get more enjoyment out of it if you're a fan of the movie, and that's not really a bad thing either. It's just you're gonna get more enjoyment out of it because the theme is really there with this game. I mean, they took the movie and they stuck with the movie, and you feel like you're playing out the movie. And for people that haven't seen the movie, you're going to be a little confused at a couple spots. And if people start, like my friends and I, we were like quoting lines from the movie the whole time we were playing. So if you're with somebody that's never seen the movie and people start just like shouting out strange lines, they're going to be like, what have I gotten myself into?
When they start singing a certain song.
Right, exactly. So check out our full review over on the site. But that's Jaws from our friends over at Ravensburger.
And strangely enough, this leads us to something that's on the screen as opposed to something that came from something on the screen. And that is that Amazon orders 2 seasons of Critical Role, The Legend of Vox Machina.
You actually said it right. I'm impressed. I didn't know if you would know how to pronounce Machina, but very good. You have impressed me, Pinely. Yeah, if you're not familiar with what this is the animated Critical Role series. You might remember this was a Kickstarter that just went berserkers. They ended up raising like $11.39 million. Woo! They raised almost $6 million of that in 4 days. So they didn't want that much, and all the creators were like, here, have some more money. So they just kept unlocking stretch goals. So the original Kickstarter campaign was to create 10 episodes of this animated Critical Role series.
Right.
Amazon decided, hey, we like what we see here. We want this on Prime. So we're going to order more of that. You only wanted to make 10 episodes of that. We want you to make more episodes. So it's going to be broken up into 2 seasons of 12 episodes each.
Okay.
So it will be available on Prime. So you have to be a Prime member to see it. Other than season 1. If you were a backer of the Kickstarter, you will still get to see season 1 for free, as that was part of the Kickstarter. Because at the time of the Kickstarter, they really didn't know where they were going to air this. They were probably just going to air it on YouTube, or not YouTube, I'm sorry. I'm drawing a complete blank. The Geek and Sundry paywall thing that Tabletop was on. Wow, I'm drawing a blank on the name of it.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
I excised it from my mind.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. But now it's going to be on Prime. So if you're a Prime member, you're going to get to see this. No exact release date is given for this other than late 2020. So maybe about this time next year, hopefully, we'll get to see this. But as I said, members of the Kickstarter, or I should say backers of the Kickstarter, will get to see season 1 for free, even if you don't have a Prime membership. But something tells me Prime memberships are going to spike when this comes out. Because if all the critters don't have Prime, they will for this.
Right.
Because critters are crazy. But yeah, so this is pretty cool. 2 full seasons now. So it went from 10 episodes into a full 2-season, 12 episode each multi-arcing cartoon, which means they're going to be able to do more stories than what they were going to do. It's just going to be amazing. I was looking forward to this, but now I'm really, really looking forward to this.
Then
Alpha, that's the name of the
Alpha. Okay.
Alpha, that's it. I knew it would come to me. But as you said, I tried to exercise that from my mind like it didn't ever exist. But
Okay.
yeah, unfortunately, it's still a thing.
Then let's head into our week in gaming. And what were you up to?
Well, not a lot,
Ooh.
really. I did manage to play a little bit over on Wayfinder. We ran the static group that we haven't ran forever. We got back together and started running that. We're going to start playing more regularly now. Hopefully, that's the goal at least. That is my Rogue Vistani Knife Fighter. We reached level 22. We did that by running the House of Rusted Blades. We're running that a couple times a day. Really good experience on that. Plus, we're trying to get the drow weapons that drop out of there. So that's the goal for that. And then went into the Underdark, and we just did some Slayers and stuff. We were trying to find one of the quests in there. And if you've been in the Underdark, you know that's not always that easy to do. But in the process of trying to go to the quest, we did some Slayers and hit 22, so it's all good.
All right.
And then also played with you. I'll let you talk about that. We actually did one thing in DDO. And then that's really it that I can talk about. I did do a couple other things, but sadly can't talk about them yet. Those silly NDAs and all of that.
Yeah. Now, my question for you then is, do I smell your rogue quickly heading out into the borderlands with your static group?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we actually talked about that because I said, the new Keep on the Borderlands is level 21, 22. And they were like, what? So yeah, that's where we're going next. Yeah. We're going to take a little break from the Underdark and go check out that Keep on the Borderlands whenever that. Yeah. So that was kind of a happy accident. We didn't actually plan on that. But then when we found out the level range, we're like, oh, yeah. So that'll be a thing.
Right.
So how about you, Pine Leaf? What were you up to?
All right, I'll begin with what I did with you. And we went back on our level 17s and played Soul Survivor, where we took a casual stroll through the base. Let's just say that.
Smooth jazz for all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because after what happened the week before that, we decided, all right, the only way we're going to get through here is on casual. Or at least do that boss fight. I think we're doing pretty well until that boss came in and smacked us to pieces.
Oh yeah, when we ran it on normal, yeah, we didn't have a problem until the boss, but it was way easier on casual.
Way easier on casual, though I suspect that if I had not done that one before, we would have had a real pain with the puzzles at the end.
Yeah, luckily. Well, and the nice thing about that quest too is it kind of teaches you what you need to do on that puzzle, so you're not totally trying to just guess what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So that's kind of nice, but still, yeah, that puzzle's like, ugh. Yeah, I did the old "You're up, Pine Leaf" line.
Yes. Then what I did is with my level 18 artificer, I ran a stay at the inn. Then on the high road, then I was on the outdoor stuff, and when I was heading over to the next adventure, I encountered this demon that was attacking a trader. And as I was doing the demon ran away. I'm trying to shoot the demon. The demon's running, and I finally kill it, and he stops right in front of another encounter.
Oh, jeez.
In front of the Yan Tui. So now I'm fighting the Yan Tui. And when I'm fighting the Antwi, I was said, "Oh, what does this thing do?" And of course, I forgot. Oh, yes, right. There's a part 2 that.
Yeah. Wow. You ended up getting two at once. That's
So
well.
I went.
Luckily, you had the other one dead because that could have been really nasty if you would have had both of them at the same time.
Oh no, the one T I think started attacking before the demon died.
Oh, jeez. Okay, great.
So it was really crazy in there, and then trying to make sure that I find everything afterwards. That I ran to a 30 count. So that was like a encounter busy
I guess. Holy cow.
encounter busy trip in there. But I did eventually reach appropriately titled the rest stop.
After all that, you needed a rest for sure.
Yeah, I needed a rest after all that stuff, so I went into rest stop and ran that one and managed to complete that one. So now I think that means I have 3 pieces of that crazy scroll completed, and I guess there are 1 or 2 more of those that I have to do before I could finish all of that up. I have to decide what I want to do after I finish that because it's looks like I'm going to be finishing that before I hit 19. I said, okay, what am I going to do before? Well, I have to figure out what to do then. Then in Minecraft, I ran the first 2 weeks of Mage Rage for November. And on tabletop, because I spent a lot of time playing a certain other game, because of the either preparing for the expansion or playing the expansion, I had very little time on tabletop, but I did play a new game called Castle Itter. And the first time you play, because Castle Itter is best described as a castle defense game.
Okay. Like I say, I'm not familiar with it at all, so I
All
have
right.
no idea what you're talking about when I see that on the show notes.
All right. Well, think of it as a world. Okay, it's not literally so, but a World War II themed castle panic, and you got a pretty good idea there.
Okay. All right. All right. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right. So I'm trying, of course, trying to defend the castle, and apparently the SS decided that it was not going to be my day, and they eventually overran me. Oh well. I didn't quite get.
Lovely.
And Castle Itter is described by the game as the strangest battle in World War II,
Okay.
which you could consider that any battle that is set in May of 1945 could be a little bit on the strange side.
Yeah. Strange indeed.
Strange indeed. Because, all right, so on one side you had about a company's worth of SS, and you had on the inside, I'd say about a platoon's worth of defenders at most. And the defenders include about 10 Americans, about 5 French prisoners of war. You've got, let's see, about 10 regular German army soldiers that decided to switch over to the what is it, the Austrian to work for the Austrian resistance.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and 1 SS captain.
Okay. Strange is the perfect word to describe that then.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a strange battle in there. And yeah, and you have to hold off long enough for the American reinforcements to arrive, which,
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
as I described, I did not quite last long enough on that. So that was Castle Itter. And that concludes my week. We currently have 15 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. And this week, we actually have an email from Kirkos. And what does Kirkos say?
He writes in and he says, "Hey, Pine Leaf and Drac, I want a levitating giant skull for my mount." Okay, I'm with you. Some other cool mounts would be a fire beetle, purple worm, or maybe a giant centipede. I had a P&P campaign where my goblins rode fire beetles, where they were standing up on top like a skiff. So imagine a rider with the reins that could make them spit their fire and another goblin archer as a passenger. Quite glorious. That would be pretty epically glorious, actually.
How large are the fire beetles?
They're pretty good size.
It must be if you're going to have two goblins on top of them.
Yeah, I mean, you could get goblin, halfling. Yeah, I mean, they could easily ride top of on. Yeah, they're big enough for that. He also writes, as far as dead being dead on the hardcore server, I followed that there was no coming back during the event. I did assume that after the event, the quest would be closed and you would be able to do all the bank activities you needed before transferring worlds. It seems this was a poor assumption, and I now have a TR cache with a couple of things in it I had never pulled out of the normal servers. Seems to me that SSG could just drop a few bank tellers into the land of the lost souls after the event so that the dead don't roam the land, but they could at least empty out their shared banks of their TR caches. I agree. We talked about this last week, too. I agree. Anyway, looking forward to some new lobby quests with the new Keep on the Borderlands. I never got to play any of that in P&P, so all of this is going to be a new experience all around. As we would say on the hardcore server, hope to see you tomorrow, Kirkos of Orion. I like that. Hope to see you tomorrow. Because dead is dead, you know.
Yes.
Thanks for writing in, Kirkos.
Yes. And if you would like to email us, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. And you can also follow us on Twitter. The Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, DDO Players @DDO Players, Dracula @Dracula_72, and Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles. And you can follow Drac on Twitch @Dracula_72. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows on Mondays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Loja Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And until next time, this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.